Hello. Okay, I hope my audio is good. And yep, from my end, I see no issues with the audio being great. Uh, Anyone watching, if you can confirm if the audio is good, it would help me a lot. Okay, hello. How are you? Um, this is my first live stream that I'm doing on YouTube. And for this live stream, I thought of presenting something very basic, something that is going to get along with learning something new and solving something on hands-on related. That's the reason this is related to OSINT and many more that is going to come on the stream. Okay, so I'll just seeing how is the live stream going on. I don't see any uh, delay or any kind of issue being replayed, which says that it's quite good. Yep. So I'm live. Officially, I'm live. That's good. Okay, so since there are no chats coming up or any interactions that's going on, what I want to do is straight away get into the objective of this live stream. Because anyone who's watching later and was replaying this live stream, I don't want to kill their time of me just chatting or something that is not relevant to the purpose of this live stream. So let's directly dive into the purpose of the live stream here and get into today's objectives. Let's come here to some slides. I know I wanted to keep this on hands-on and practical, where anyone who's getting into the uh, cybersecurity or anyone who wants to start with something can get into it. So I just want to give some context and some learnings and some information before we actually dive into solving the machines and rooms of TryHackMe that is for today. Just for the context of everyone who is watching here, I have prepared this presentation. Now, the context of the machine is self-explanatory. We will get into that when we start doing with the TryHackMe's rooms. But this is going to give you a basic knowledge about what exactly are we doing and why are we doing and how are we doing. All those aspects are going to be covered in this slide. I'm not going to keep it too long. It's going to be short and concise itself. Let's dive into this. Now, OSINT. What am I doing in this stream is to talk about and show a live demonstration about OSINT or open source intelligence gathering. Now, what exactly are we doing in this live stream is the question which I want to answer now. Is that we are using the skills of gathering information, of finding information which is publicly available in any form or any source or any location anywhere in the internet. We're using that information to find specific details and information of, it could be a person, entity, group, company, it could be any kind of a specification that we want to identify. We are doing that. We are learning how do we find information. We are finding about how do we gather information in a collective way. We are looking into all those aspects which comes into the process or the term called as OSINT, which is to gather information from an publicly available source. So, what exactly is OSINT, right? Now, OSINT is a small short form of open source intelligence. Now, open source intelligence is nothing but collecting data which is already open source. As the name says, open source means which is disclosed already, or has been leaked, or has been available in the internet. It could even be in the dark web, it could even be in the clean internet. It doesn't matter. For us, those information are already publicly available. The process of OSINT actually is a term referred under a term called as, or a process called as reconnaissance. Um, oh, so here is what we will dive into. That is OSINT. Let's get into what is reconnaissance. Now, reconnaissance is nothing but the same thing. It's a basically a term which has been inferred from the military called as gathering information, which is a first step that we perform to attack or to perform any execution of anything. It's the research phase. Now, when we want to gather information about any particular target or a company or a set of people, we want to gather as much as information possible. There are multiple methods, there are multiple sources, there are multiple steps. So all those process of gathering information comes under reconnaissance. It's nothing but gathering information. It's the initial researches that you do to extensively and know back and forth about the target is what comes under this process. And in this, there are two types. One is the active reconnaissance, and the other one is the passive reconnaissance. Active reconnaissance is something like I am actively engaging to my target or to my person that I want to gather information from. I'm actively engaging with them. It could be either a phone call or it could be via the social media where I connect with them, build some trust, become friends, and then start getting information and collect information to exploit it. Somewhere where I have an interaction with the target is what active reconnaissance is about. Whereas passive reconnaissance is using the available data where the target to whom we are identifying or collecting their data will never get an idea about their data actually being searched or researched about, because that is already available on the open internet. It could be on the internet like the Googles or any search engines, or it could even be on their social media profiles or like LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, or any such platforms. Or it could be any other source like a data breach that happened in a company and we are trying to gather their leaked data from any other sources. So it could be any kind of information that is publicly available, and we are trying to gather those information without engaging with the target or without engaging with the persons whom we are trying to gather the information from, is called as passive reconnaissance. Now OSINT comes under this passive reconnaissance, where we are gathering information of what is already available on the internet and then using that information to perform our exploits. So this is the bit of information that I wanted to give, and make sure everyone is in this phase to be able to understand about it. So yeah, that's about the slides. I don't have any other slides to talk about because I want to directly get into the hands-on part and start with this lab. Now, before I do that, I want to see if there are any chats that I want to engage with, or that I can see or something like that. Uh, Currently, I don't see anything. Uh, oh, I see my buddy here, Sai. Hi. Um, okay, well then. So let's get into the lab here. And for the lab, I'm using TryHackMe's platform. Again, this video is not part of showcasing TryHackMe or is in any form of sponsorships. This is nothing but me having a huge fan about this platform to use and show you all about the processes that we do. So let's dive into solving this particular room of TryHackMe called as missing person. In here, we actually use these terms of OSINT and reconnaissance here. As we go on hands on, I'll explain about search engine queries, about how we gather information, what are the terms that we use, or the operands that we use while searching in the search engines for gathering and being very specific about the information that we want to gather from. So, what I will do is, I'm here. I will probably reset the entire room so that we can all go in the same phase. If you're following along with me, we can all go in the same phase and start answering all of these questions together to be able to finish this room as well as learn something about OSINT. Now, the reason why I have chosen this particular room is because it also deals with OSINT and gathering information using publicly available data. That's another room that I also want to get into today in today's live stream is the dev diaries. We'll come into that in the next section, or once we finish the missing person room, then we will get into the dev diaries. Right here, what we can do is let's download the task file and save that in my downloads folder. I'll create another folder called as YouTube. Okay, it's already there. I'll create a file called as missing person. Okay, then here I'm going to save that file and click on save. That's done. Now, let's start reading on what exactly are here. Missing person. Use your OSINT skills to help the police track down a missing person. That's nice. Getting into the challenge description. My friend went on a holiday in 2025 and shared some photos, but haven't heard from him since. Can you help me track him down for the police report? Download the zip file attached to this task and start your investigation. The context here is that we have a friend to whom we are helping him, and they have shared some photos that they had taken somewhere during their holidays, and he has not heard him back or has not reached out after since that. So we downloaded the zip file here from that button. Let's open that zip file in the terminal here. Let's go to the folder where we just downloaded it, the YouTube missing person, and we have the zip file there. Let's unzip and see what exactly contents are present inside this zip file. For that, I'll use the command called as unzip and then click on enter. Here I can see the two files which is present here. Now these are two JPEG files. Let's just open this in a normal clean view and see what exactly are these files going to be showing us. Uh, okay, we see one photo, a random photo that shown up here. It looks like some food stall. I can see people here and customers buying from shop. That's good. Coming to another picture, it looks like image taken of a racing track. That's good. Now we have these two images to deal with and nothing else in the zip file. As we can see here, it is just the two files that we have, and another one is the zip file. Right, let's get into answering one question at a time because that takes us in a flow of how do we identify and what do we identify and how and what are we supposed to be doing. So let's follow there, answer the question below itself to start gathering and start going through it. It says, what is the commercial name of the circuit? Okay, so that seems to be a fair question about what is the name of the circuit that is what is the commercial name that has been shown to us. I can see here it is called as Pertmana. Again, I'm very bad at pronunciation, so it's a disclaimer to all of you watching. If I pronounce a name wrong or if I misspell something, please forgive me. I'm bad at spellings. Okay, so let's open here itself and start looking. Basically, do a normal search, a normal Google search about what could this name mean to us. Let's just do that. Coming to the browser here, Firefox in my case, I search for the name and press enter. It says is owned by an oil. Okay, I had a misspelling in that. Petrtamina. Okay, it looks like something else. Fine. Let's add another term called as racing. Who knows what is it? Okay, we get a lot of some other information like a fuel or something related, which we don't know exactly, right? What does that mean? Okay, that's fine. What if we search for something like a circuit? Okay, that's basically called a racing circuit. So what if I search for a circuit and with that I get a circuit name? So it's these are all just basic. This is all about normal Google searches that we do. But Google search is so effective in trying to get you into a specific areas and start gathering information in a very detailed format. Now, in this case, it's the name of the circuit that we identify, and we can see it right here from this image. Let's copy that name and submit it here. Let's check if that's the right circuit, and indeed it is. Let's go to the next question and get into what is going to happen there. When did this event take place? Right now, how do we identify this? Now, there are multiple methods of identifying this one. Either we can come here itself to Google and then search for uh, this circuit 2025. Let's just do the date. Let's see if there's anything which comes into that. It says the 2025 Grand Prix Indonesia is scheduled for October 3rd to 5th, 2025. Okay, that's there. So we get the date that the schedule is from 3rd or, of October to 5th of October in the month in the year 2025. And that is also an answer there. In other cases, let's say we could not find the event which is happening publicly. It's just an image which is taken. If you have taken a photo in a concert or some place where you had just gone and then shared it, what would you do and how would you find that information? That's what a tool called as exfil comes into, where it exfiltrate or it gathers the metadata which is present inside any image. Now if you click any image, I take my phone and then take a picture of this room or this area, it stores some metadata inside it, such as what was the angle that you took the photo from, what is the geolocation of the photo that you took from, and what is the pixel, what is the configuration of the phone, what was the time. All such information are stored inside an image. It also stores a metadata called as geolocation, which pinpoints the exact location where you took the image. And that can be exfiltrated using the tool called as exfil, and then passing in the name of the image file that you want to extract it from. So I'll say exfil motogp.jpg and press enter. Here we don't get much information. We just get the basic data because it might be stripped. Half of the information is stripped. I can only see the date and time, and that also seems to be very accurate. I can see the year when it was taken, the month, and the exact day, along with the time when the image was taken. Here in this case, the images are kind of stripped, so we don't get the juicy information that usually is present in a normal image. So for that reason, we just have the time, date, and a small basic information, which is not that relevant. But from the Google search here, we identified when this event actually happened. It was from 3rd of October to 5th of October in the year 2025. So let's enter that as the answer here. So 03 hyphen 05 hyphen, sorry, backslash 08, sorry, 10, then slash 2025. Pressing enter, that answers the second question. Next comes, he told me he ate at a delicious Mexican food. What is the name of the restaurant? Okay, this is an interesting question because if I look at this image and if I try to zoom in into this image, I can't see it exactly clearly about what canteen is that. It kind of makes sense. I can see TAN and C there, and it has written something, but that's not clear or that's not very easy to identify. I'm not getting a good name of it. That's where image search comes in, where we can search any information using an image. So let's get in here and open a new tab. Just go to google.com and we will drag this image and drop it right into here. That searches the image there. Now it gives a exact match and visual matches of all the images or all the restaurants that is being displayed or it is already known by Google. So if I go to exact matches and try to open this link, I can see the name of the restaurant that this was from. It is Cantina Mexicana Cuta. Okay, so that's the name of the restaurant where his friend probably had his dinner or lunch or wherever he ate. It's just a two words, so all that we need to do is to copy just the first two words. Let's copy that and paste it right in here. Then click on check. That has identified it. So we use image searches to find exact information about what person is doing, where is it from, and where was this photo taken from. Does it resemble to any of the matches or any of the information that is publicly available? Now, for showcasing and to learn, these are the methods that we follow. Now, that goes with the deep, extensive searches, also called as advanced searches of Google, where we can specify on what type of files that we want to see. If for a particular image file, we can even specify if I have to look at a specific PDF matching to this image. You can have such filters added to a Google search also. That is called as operators that we use, like I can say site, and then we can specify what from which site I want to exactly see this from. Let's say github.com, just as an example. Now anything where this image matches with the site github.com would be present here. In this case, there are no exact matching specifications. That's the reason we don't get it here. But in other cases, if I had to specify, we can specify those parameters into it and then exfiltrate and gather information in it. Okay, now let's get to the next question. It asks, at what time was this photo taken? We can use this tool again, the exfil tool, to get the time and date of this image too. We can run exfil and then foot.jpg. Here we get the date and time of the image when it was taken. Let's copy that and let's get into this, paste it here and click on check. We get the time when this image was taken. Here comes the interesting part. He sent me a message. This is the last I heard from him. Went to this cool MotoGP after party and became friends with one of the local DJs who played that night. We are going to visit a cave tomorrow. What is the full address of the bar's location? Wow, that's interesting. Now, the only context that we have here is that the message says went to a cool MotoGP after party and became friends with one of the local DJs who played that night. We are going to visit a cave tomorrow. What is the full address of the bar's location is what we need to find out from the context here. So let's start digging into and diving into the searches here. What can we identify and look into this? So, assuming now, since this is a racing tournament, which actually happens, and I can see a lot of results which is coming out here, I can even look about it on Wikipedia, which means that it's like a famous racing event itself. And if there is an after party of it, which means that it's going to be anything related to this event itself. Let's do a normal Google search to see anything like after party, to see if there's any search result which just comes up. Again, we see a walkthrough of this room coming up, but let's skip that for the context here and see if we can get any specific information or gather any details about this after party here. I can see a lot of images, a lot of Instagram videos and reels here, but nothing which talks about a party. But we see one here. It says after race party Mandalika GP, and it is of October 5th 2025 itself. So this poster matches to the date that we identified from the event there. So if this is hosted on the 5th of October, this probably seems to be the party which has been related to it. So let's just open this in a new tab. It's the Instagram page, right? Let's have this poster open here. But look at, is there anything else that we can get from this? Let's go to all and then search for just after parties. In here, does it say about anything? Just AI specify any event? It doesn't give at the, okay, it says this one location. Let's open that. Nope. Okay, that's not relevant. So let's see if there's anything else. I don't see it. Okay. What about race after party? It's only talking about that thing. Fine, that's okay. But the one which we get close was this poster. Now in here it should talk about some address about it. We see that the address of this is not exactly mentioned here, but going through the description here, do we see anything? Uh, it says fine, tickets are available on this platform, and the address is given here in the beach club, right? So let's search for it. and you get some address here. It says Mandalika Beach Club. Anything more specific about it? Where exactly is this? Let's open on maps and search this location here. This looks like a beach club which could have been where, because we also see it on the Instagram poster here. It matches to October 5th, 2025, and also talks about the dates which is present there. Again, I want to do a deeper search about what could have been any other after parties. So, Ray's after party 2025. Do I see anything here? It just says it's scheduled at this location, at this location. Okay. Uh, it is another major after party is known to take place at Surf's Bar at this location. Now, the one which we found is Mandalika Beach Club, but there is one more after party which is going on at Surf's Bar. So let's search that. Let's copy this and paste it in here. Okay. So this is another location that another party is going on. Let's also open this in maps and we'll keep all of the possible locations open and search if we can do anything there. Let's paste this location also there. This is the surf spa. So there are two parties which is going on, and both are of quite some distance. Where exactly is this? One is right here at surf spa, and I can see another one is at the another beach club there. Okay, any other parties which is going on? I don't see any of them. That's good. Okay, so right now, filtering from all these things, we have two locations where we have identified that the party has gone, which is one is this beach club and the other one is the surf spa. Now, according to the question here, it asks, he sent me a message. This is the last I heard from him. Went to this cool Moto GP after party and became friends with one of the local DJs who played that night. We're going to visit a cave tomorrow. Okay, so this context is kind of vague. We don't really get any clue or any information related to the question that we have to answer here, which is what is the full address of the bar's location. Now, looking at the beach club and the surf spa, I feel the since the name exactly matches with the surf spa, I assume that is the address which we can enter in there. So let's try with this address. Let's copy this and let's open a text editor here. Paste that right here and then remove all these. Copy this address and paste it right here. Also remove that and click on check. Now, the reason why I wanted to answer this question itself is because the bar here is the key term that we're using, because it's the question which asks about what is the exact bar's location. Now, this is also one of the possible places where they could have gone, and it is also a valid answer. In fact, when I was earlier solving this room, I was heavily confused with this location, as the address seems to match, the event seems to match, the location, everything seems to match, but it was not. I was not able to answer that in TryHackMe. Nevertheless, this was the answer, which was to be the serves bar itself. So these were the two places where the party happened, right? It says an official after party, and this is a local event, which was just probably organized by some localites who were happy about the winning or some celebration there. So it is just the answer there. Now, what is the DJ's stage name? Okay, so how do we identify it here? Now, looking at it here, we can try some of the DJ here. It says DJ Panda, DJ Fonsi Nityo, then Ariel, DJ. Okay, I'll not pronounce their names. I might be just doing their names there. So we can try out those names, but since it is not about this event or this event's details or the DJs, we are looking specifically for the serves bars event that happened. So we want to identify who were the DJs who had come to this bar for that specific day for hosting the events. So after party, I'm going to edit my search term here and press this there. Now let's ignore the rooms walkthrough blocks which just show up directly. Let's look at this Instagram page here. And since it matches with the name there, I want to see if there's any specific details that we can get from this. There's one reel here. It says if I have to look at it, I need to sign up. Okay, let's ignore that. Anything else? I don't see it here. What about if I say it is serve spa? Let's replace with this serve spa 2025 after party. Let's search for this. We already get this. So let's look at this Instagram page. Also this Facebook page. Let's just open all of these link at random and see if we can get any specific details out of it. The first post here is never missed a okay, let's just ignore that. And it talks about after MotoGP. So it's an after party of the MotoGP event that happened. And if this reel is played once again, you will see that it shows 5th October. The timeline matches here. It says 5th October 2025 at the Surf Bar. That's exactly where we are also looking to find the information from. Then, whatever information is present there. Let's just play this reel to see if there's any specific detail, people, or any such information that is being shared. And right here comes the details of it. It comes as the DJ set, and the three DJs names are present here. One is the Bong Lele, or whatever that name is. Then Yarl. Then comes Damino. Right. So these are the three names that we get from this reel. So is it possible that we can match any one name with them? Let's do it here. Let's come back right here. Can I make this screen half? Nope, that's not allowing me. Okay, so I can memorize that and type it in here. Bong le Eli LH and pressing enter. That checks it. So this is the DJ that was performing on the event there in the surf bar, right? Yep, that's the DJ that was present there. Now let's get into the next question. It says, after digging into the DJ's other online accounts, what cave does he take tourists to? Is it okay? So there is some cave that this DJ is taking people into. We can try searching for that DJ's information on the internet here. Let's see if we get any such relevant information about this person. On a Google search, it says it's a local DJ from this island known for playing minimal. Okay, and all this information is present there. He was featured in the TryHackMe. Okay, let's ignore this search then because it's going to be very specific to the challenge, making the purpose of the video a little feminist. So let's skip that thing there. Uh, how do we find this? I can see another Instagram page. It says from Lombok Island played this deep. Okay, uh, this could be the person. So I get to see the person here with their social media profile and the post that they have done, and but no specific thing about the cave. Okay, anything in the Facebook? Okay, this was the Facebook of the same reel that we saw. It was the Facebook post that we can see here, and this was hosted by Surf Spa. Okay, that's fine. Let me not close all of these. Let me keep them just open. But let's just try identifying if I can see anything specifically here. Let's search for cave here from this user. Do I see anything here? Oh, we see some caves here. Let's just open them here. Okay, let's ignore that blog. Then nope. Let's open this. Let's go through the post that we just opened here. It says every step I took beneath the surface, I discovered that the cave was guiding me to. How did this come up? Does this user anywhere is posted? Nope. Okay. Uh, this is one cave. That's fine. What about this? Do we find this user linked anywhere? No, probably because I searched for the word cave, all these information are just showing up there. I don't think so that's going to be relevant, but let's anyway keep that on the screen. Now, this one again pops up, which is Monga Panyan. Okay, whatever that name is. Let's just open the profile. I can't do it because I'm logged out. And this is the user there. Okay, what if I come to Google Maps and search for some cave which is nearby this location, right? Can I see any specific cave that could link here? One cave is this, which is the Goa Banka, whatever that name is. This is one cave there. Okay, this is one cave, which is it's close to the bar, so that's okay. What about this one, right? So this is also close to the area. Now, if you are going after a party, you would not choose something which is part of another continent totally, right? It would be something a very local and a very nearby place that you would want to go here. So the possible two places are these two caves that I can just see in front of me, and the other one is quite a bit far. It's not too far, but quite a bit far. So let's search. Let's see if anything is linked with this user. Let's copy their this cave name and then paste this right in here. And again, let's ignore all of these TryHackMe blogs which are coming up. I'm not trying to put hate on others, but it's just like, as this is a challenge, I want to keep it raw as possible. But again, because of the pre-knowledge and the pre-context that I already have, it is also a little difficult for me to be very non-specific or try to do it naturally. But I'm just trying to get the context right about how I would search in a normal cases. Now, since I already have solved it, I'm going a little fast forward about how am I doing it. But in other cases, this would take a quite a bit of time. It would take a lot of time to figuring it out, getting context, and all those things. So that's the reason I just want to ignore the blogs which are being coming up on my screen. But a lot of love and respect to all the people who have solved it and put out there. No hate to them. Okay, so nothing as such goes up here. There is no valid information which is related to this user. But again, since this name actually matches with the answer that we need to share here, I assume it's going to be this. So let's paste that, and that's the right answer there. Now, what is the number did the DJ list for his tour business? Oh, okay. So which means that there is connection to this cave probably, and the DJ owning some other business, a local business or something. So searching here itself, we don't get that much information from this. I'll continue the same search, but with going further into looking at all the social media profiles and areas to see if I can find any information about it here. We see a LinkedIn page about this cave, but I don't see any number or anything like that, phone number of this person. What if I start using some search operators? Like, if I want to see from a specific site, I can specify an operator called a site and then pass in from which site do I actually want to see this from. If I give facebook.com and press enter, did not match. Okay, sorry for that. facebook.com, and here we get it. So we open this link. That's what is opened here. Then what about any other places can we find from Facebook? Because Facebook is generally also used for businesses, and in businesses you can host your pages and post your sites and other details into it. That's the reason I'm going very specific with Facebook here. Let's search all these links, and also I will reduce my search term here. So I will just remove, or let me make this as a single word and remove these terms. I just want to see if there's any specifications that I can get. Nope, I don't see that. Cave. So nope, it's going to Bangalore for some reason. I don't know why. Let's cut this name and search it here. Oh, we get one here. So with this search, if I open this, uh, this is some Facebook talking about probably their experience or something. So I'll just ignore that and move to the next one. This also seems to be similar. This is some random junk that I got. And here we get another page of this page. Now, this is different from the one which we saw earlier. This one is r- of the DJ. If you can look at the URL there, this is of the DJ. Now, if I had an Facebook account and if I had logged in here, I could have directly come here and searched their username. But nevertheless, you can see that this cave is also being featured by the DJ's name there. So the DJ's name is Pong Lelish, and coming here, it also says the same username there. So it kind of gives a context about this user, or this DJ was running a business to this cave that was right here. So here I can see the phone number. Let's copy this phone number and try submitting it here and check if that's the right answer. No. Let's remove all these hyphens and then try submitting it. Pressing enter. Yep, there we did it. So with this, we have solved this room by identifying and gathering information using search engines like Google. Now let me remove all these parameters and get into the room specifically here, right? Okay, so what did we learn from this, right? That now when you think of open source, or let me just put my face right here. Now, when you think of finding or gathering information, we always think that, okay, there is going to be some CIA type of tool or some kind of sophisticated tool where you identify the person's face and then all their information just comes in and comes out. No, we as a professional hackers, we perform any kind of searches and search engine related searches on a web browser, just like how we normally search for anything on Google or any of the search engines. We just search with that. It's all about crafting a skill to be able to find specific information, to be able to find a detailed information. How do you structure your queries to be able to search on a search engine and get all those relevant informations? There is no magic bullet which exists for searching or gathering open source intelligence. There are multiple search engines that are specifically for different purposes. Like we have Shodan, which is for getting information related to any IoT devices or any devices which has an IP address. It's the search engine for that. Google, a normal Google search with image searching, with video searching, and now with this AI, you can even get a summarized search of whatever you want to search. So it's about crafting your skills to be able to search and get those information from. Now, I want to even give you all another uh, thing about Google searches, that I was specifying about these search operators, right? Now, what are these search operators? I can Google that itself here. Google Advanced Search search operators, right? And this is nothing but making Google searches more advanced. If you come here to advanced search and then come into this section, you can filter as much as to a single very specific information also here. Now the easier version of this can also be found from here, from this website, where they talk and specify about what are the specific code words that you can mention in here. Now one example that I showed earlier was the Facebook one, where if I put in any query like site and then pass in the domain that I want to specifically search for, you will get that only related to that domain itself. Now, a good example of that, if I search for car, right? Now I get information from the Wikipedia and this Carwala and Bajaj, Hyundai, Tata. I get all the places. I get all those informations here. But what if I want from a specific site itself? Let's say I just mentioned car, and but I want to see only related to BMW. I can see that I can only make sure that I get about BMW. I can specify here saying site, then a colon, then calling it as bmw.com. I hope that domain is valid. And yes, all the search results that come out are going to be from the domain called as bmw.com. All the searches, all the results that are shown up is going to be from the domain bmw.com. If I can zoom this in and show it here, it's bmw.com and all the other places from BMW itself. This can also be added with like specifying in title, which is that if I want to search a word, but I want something specific in a title, I can say in title and then say I want about M5, which is a series of BMW. Again, if you're trying to do this, Google always wants to make sure that it is you're not doing something fishy. It's basically to verify that it's you itself as a human who is trying to do it, because these search queries are generally used if you're using some bots or anything like that. We're gonna bridges. Let's click on bridges. If I fail this captcha on a live stream, no, I did not. Okay. So whatever I get here as a search result is going to be containing M5 word in the title. Can you see here? M5. There is another one. M5 here, M5 there, M5 here. Again, M5 here. You can specify that in a title. What exactly do you want in there? Now here I can add multiple queries also. I can say site again and call it from bmw.com, and whatever I get which has M5 in its title is going to be from the bmw.com itself. These are the normal search engine operators which you can use for narrowing down your search results, getting into very specifications of it. You can even mention PDF file types. I can call as file type and then say I want to look at only PDFs. Okay, there is none as a PDF. Let's remove in title and let's see if we can get any PDFs from it. All the results that come from the bmw.com is what is a PDF type that is being resulted to us. So this is a PDF, this is a PDF, and whatever I open are all going to be a PDF file itself related to the search that we did, and specifically from the site bmw.com itself. Now, you might be wondering, okay, I get the point that you can do these search specifications, but how exactly is this practical, right? It is practical is because in this case we are randomly searching something. But if let's say BMW is my client, okay, BMW is my client, and I want to see if BMW has leaked any kind of their sensitive PDFs on the internet, there we can say site bmw.com and see if there's any file type of PDFs which are being hosted or is available on the internet that anyone can actually find. If you sit for a while and then try to gather all those information, you might find some information. You might be able to get some sensitive PDF files of it, or go very specific. What I don't want a company to be showcasing or having outside their computers could be something like an Excel sheet, XLXS. I don't get anything like that. What is an Excel format? Uh, yep. No, we don't get any of those things. Fine. What could be another file that I don't want a company to just be disclosing? Um, PPTX, is that Microsoft's PPTX? Oh, wait, let me just Google. I'm also getting confused about. Yeah, it is PPTX. What did I search there? Yep, that is the right thing. So I don't find any PPTs or that. So you can specify for any specific file format to see here. Now I've got a curious thought in my mind. What will happen if I just search this and say car? Does it exactly come here? Yeah. So we can see here. We can see some presentations, PPT files present there. So we get all those information from here. Yeah, this is good. But there is also another place that we can go and get more information from. And that place is the Google hacking database. And now, if you go with the name, you might think we are hacking the Google's database, but no, this is nothing but a place where you have a predefined and pre-searched search queries for specific things, such as we have site, GitHub being OpenSSH private keys. Now, if you want to identify any open private keys which is present on the internet, you can use it from here. We can just paste this search query, press enter. We can remove this white space and press enter. Uh, and after we finish the captcha, cars. I don't see a car. I don't see a car. Okay, I see a car. Yep. So what happens here is it says beginning of OpenSSH private key. Now, OpenSSH private key is nothing but your any SSH keys starting line. So if you are trying to log into any server, you get those private keys, and it is going to be having this key term inside it. What if someone has leaked their private keys in their GitHub while uploading it to their GitHub site? What if they have done it? Can they get those informations? Yes. That's what Google Hacking Database shows here. It gives you a set of queries that you can search from, and then you can use that into finding a specific details about it. Okay. Now, again, just because these informations are present here doesn't mean you can get into these and start misusing them, because open source and OSINT, let me just get my face into here. Open source and OSINT is legal to an extent, it is ethical to an extent. But what you do with the information that you gather, what you do with the information that you're gathering of a target, place, or anything, your actions are going to determine the boundary of it being ethical and legal versus being it illegal and unethical. So the boundary stops here. So this is where you end it. If you are going to be performing any extensive search of your person, you need to have a written and a legal contract between the person and you yourself, trying to gather this information to actually get into these stuff and then performing your motives into it. Until unless you have a legal or any contract between those two, anything that you do after gathering these informations, if you do anything bad or if you try to exploit it or try to feed it in more, that's where you're crossing the lines of it. So I just wanted to even give you this disclaimer about to what extent can you also go with these search engine queries and contents here. Okay, now with all these things, let's get into the chatting here. I don't see any much chat here. Someone says hello, hi. I'm reading a chat now. um yep. So I hope we can even get into the second room and finish this live stream very soon. So let's get into the other room that we have. What I will do is I'll bring this out, then I'll delete this entire window. I don't need this window. So I'll close the tab here, and that's done. So this is of the Instagram page. Let me also close that. Then, yep, remove all these things. Right. Yep. Okay, now I seem to be live back again. I don't know, for some reason that had caused a problem. Am I live now? Yep, I am live. Okay. Yes, let's get into this of Dev Diaries. Again, let me reset my progress. Or actually, I seem to have a problem here. The reason I don't want to just remove this is because there's one particular question which has been taken down or is no more available on the internet for some reason. So for that reason, I'll not reset this room, but I'll just keep this there, and we can just follow along as we just solve it. Well, let's get into this. We have just launched a website developed by a freelancer developer. The source code was not shared with us. The developer has since disappeared without handling it over. Despite this, trace of the development process and earlier versions of the website may still exist online. You are only given the website's primary domain as a starting point, and we have given the domain here. We have a domain, and the context of doing this is that a freelancer developer was hired and then they have disappeared without handing over the final project. And the only information that we have is the domain name that we have given. And this says that despite this, the trace of the development process and earlier versions of the website may still exist online, meaning that the website might also be down. So we don't know. And for our luck, the website is down. Okay, so what do we do here? It The website is down, so clearly, which means that if I try to resolve this web domain, how many number of times, I can't really get into it. So, oh, I'm sorry. So, what about me trying to search about it? Do I get anything about it? Uh, Again, this is a random names here. This is just a Google search which I did, and nothing relevant is there. Okay, that's fine. Let's get into the objectives of today so that we get some flow line and structure of solving this. It says, what is the subdomain where the development version of the website is hosted? Okay, so to identify any subdomains, there are multiple ways that we can do it. Now, one is that either we can go through tools like Sublister or any other brute forcing tools that I usually showcase in my other CTF rooms, of finding the subdomains or finding the directories of it. But if it is a valid domain which has been hosted publicly, we can identify the domain and related subdomains and its information using a tool called as cert.sh. So cert.sh is a site. It basically is used for certificate searches. Now, any certificate that is present or is given to a website, it's going to be registered here or it is going to show up here. Meaning, what certificate am I talking about? Now, since they give us a context that the website may still exist online, which gives me a highly likely possibility that the website might have been once hosted publicly, and it might have also contained something like an SSH certificate, which is the certificate which comes into any secure websites talking about the certificate informations to it. Now, any domain that you buy is going to be containing certificates like how I'm opening here of google.com. Now, for any domain of Google, it's going to be having a certificate used to it. Similarly, if this domain was online on the internet, which I assume also had a SSH certificate, it's going to be having its information there. From there, we can find the information about the subdomains. Let's do a google.com and see if there are any certificates present for it, and then we will move into finding out of this domain here. So searching here, we can see all the subdomains of Google, such as docs, mail, plus, sites, talkinggadget.google.com, and its relevant certificates. When was it logged, and when is it going to be renewed? And certificate IDs are also seen here. You get all the information about where is it hosted, what is the public key, what is the signatures, and all those information can be found from the certificate there. Because if you have hosted any website, you would know that to generate an SSL certificate, you would have to enter all these information there, and which then gets verified. Then it's going to come up with a valid certificate saying that yes, this site is secure and has been verified, and all those information there. So when you provide those information, you are also submitting in all of these information about that domain onto the internet like this. So we can see that for this certificate, what is that? It is being redirected to mail.google.com, docs.google.com, and many other subdomains of Google. So similarly, if I search for this domain here, which is marvenly.com, and then paste it right into cert.sh, pressing enter, we get the list of subdomains that was present there. And I can read that from the common name there. I'm sorry if the screen was too small to be seen. I'm just realizing it now. So yeah, so we get the domain name here. It is uattesting.marvelly.com. If I try searching that, do I get it? No, that side is also down. So, but I get this information about what was the subdomain of this domain that we had. And the purpose of using this was probably for the UAT testing. Now, if you are part of any development organization or you are a developer, you would know that any product which you develop is not directly going into the production. It goes to the UAT, it goes to the QA, it goes to multiple different stages of development, gets tested, gets implemented, and then finally reaches to the production. So, assuming and giving the context here, it says that development, where was the development version of the website hosted? I can certainly say it is uat-testing.marvinly.com, and then we can answer it here, and that's the exact answer which is present there. Now, what is the GitHub username of the developer? Okay, so now for the GitHub development, what we'll do is we will copy the domain name here, and I will search it here. I'll just remove that. And if I do a normal Google search, it's giving me no information there. There is no exact details in it. So this is why we use the Google search operators such as site and then github.com. Now, why GitHub? That's because mostly as a developer, you would be using GitHub to publish or to maintain version controls of your development process. Now, you don't want to just edit your raw file, right? You want to do some commits, you want to do some branchings, you want to do some modifications of it. And the best place and the best code repository and code management system, which is open source and free to use, is GitHub. So, mostly all the kind of development that happens is going to be done using GitHub as a platform of sharing codes and maintaining a version control of the source code. So GitHub is one popular software for it. So searching for this specific name with the search operator of github.com to specify the site here, I get 3 hit results. So let's open all the 3 in the new tab and check if any one of them matches here. Uh, Okay, so I see one here. It says Marvin, and that is perfect HQ as the username there, which is fine, which is good. What about another repository? Oh, we see one more here. It says Blood Donation Management System. This could be probably from a user. So, okay, let's ignore that also. What about this? No, we don't get it there. Okay, so since it's already GitHub, what if I search for this in GitHub itself? So github.com. And if I search the word in GitHub, it says too many requests. Uh, I've exceeded the rate limit. Come on, what did I just do? Uh, okay, so that's giving me an error here. Fine. What if I'll try if I can do that on my regular browser here where I'm just live streaming. So I'll open a new tab or an incognito tab. Then coming here. I hope that is seen on my stream here. Yep, that's seen. Okay. So I'll go to github.com and uh GitHub. Come on. Bridges. Okay. GitHub. And I'll search it here. Please don't say. Okay, fine. That's good. Now we get a list of all the repositories which has that name. But let's open this one because it says Marvinly site. And for fortunately, this exactly is the username that we are looking for. The reason why I know that is because I've solved it, but the main conclusion that came in was that when I went through this and came to the history of it, I could start looking for these things. These were some of the hints which I later got to know that okay, it's the same username. So, but other than that, you can also come and search for the GitHub repositories and then find out what username was it. We have so many here, so none of them actually have this as their repository name, and that is the only closest one which actually matches to any of the repository projects. For that reason, it's this repository itself. And the username of the GitHub profile is this one. And we can come to TryHackMe here. Uh, Let me open my Kali here. Yep. And that's the exact not wipecoder 23 as the username there. So next is, what is a developer's email address? Oh, so how do you find an email address, right? This is an interesting thing. Now, most of you think your emails are actually secure. You are using GitHub for hosting and sharing informations into it. But have you ever wondered that I can get your email address using your GitHub code or your GitHub projects? I can show it to you here. So what we'll do is we will open the site here, marvelly underscore site, and open this URL onto my Kali Linux here. Hopefully this time GitHub doesn't block me. Yep, GitHub doesn't block me. That's a good thing. So I'll copy this URL or the GitHub's ID there, and then come into my terminal here. Let's clear all these things. I'll do it here itself, or let's create a new directory. This is dev diaries. Okay, inside dev diaries, there is nothing done. So git clone and pasting in the URL. That's going to start cloning of the repository that we just saw. Now ls, it's marvelly underscore site. Inside this directory, we have just one folder or one file, which is the index.html there. Okay, that's good. But there are also hidden files inside this. If I do lsla, I can see that there is a hidden file called as .git inside it. What is this hidden file? So if I go to .github and see here, this contains the entire log of all the things that you did in a GitHub page for your repository. So this is going to contain details from the commits that you did, the images that you added, the modifications that you did, the branching, the code, everything. It contains even how do you reach back to the repository again if I have to commit some changes that I did here. So this hidden file contains information all related to your repository and your personal information in that. Now, what a hacker could do to find an email address is that I could use GitHub's option called as git log to see the logs about all the commits that you did. Here, I can not just see the author of this, but also get the email address of that author there. Yes, so that's the reason I also recommend people that they have different email IDs. I recommend people to have different email IDs and specific email IDs to specific accounts and specific places. Let's say if you're using it for social media, have something like social media, then your name at gmail.com if you're using a Google Mail domain, or if you're using something like for something like publicly for GitHub, something where you are sure that what email is what I'm going to be exposing like this outside is okay to manage any losses which comes with that. What I mean by that is, now let's say this user who is the author, not vibecoder23, was using this email for even their banking application, was using this for even their let's say social media accounts, even for their job sites, everywhere, even to their government sites. If I find out that information like an email like this, it is half the information that I have got for authenticating into any login pages. For logging into it, we need the username, password, and if you have enabled two-factor authentication, it's another one. But if not, I've got 50% of the information that is required as a critical uh, medium of identifying who the person is. I've got that information here. Cracking a password is another game, but getting a 50% of the information like this is quite dangerous. Not just that, what if a site gets leaked? How do you make sure you're secure? How do you make sure that the email address or any of the information that has been exposed about you, if it is leaked, how do you protect from it? That's the reason you should have a specific set of email IDs for specific areas. Again, this is my personal thought and this is my principles that I follow and preach. So that's the point that I wanted to bring here. Saying that make sure when you are hosting or sharing your addresses on such profile pages and such places like softwares, make sure you're having the awareness about the responsibilities of or the burden of exposing these email IDs. Let's get back into this, and here we get the email ID of the developer who has developed this site, and that has also been verified here by entering this tab. Now, next question is, what reason did the developer mention in the commit history for removing the source code? How do we see that? We can see it from the log itself. We can see all the commits and the commit messages that has been done. This is the initial commit of the landing page. Then this is calling removed my signature, ready for deployment. It's okay. Then comes the project was marked as abandoned due to payment dispute. So the freelancer was not paid for this service. That's the reason there. And it says park the domain until the issue is solved. And that's okay. So this is the issue or the reason that was submitted for the removing of the source code. Now that can also be viewed in a better way by coming here to index.html, and under the history here, let me just zoom in. Under the history there, we can see all the commits that was done, and coming here, we can see what exactly was the commits or the changes that was done, and everything in red is the ones which have been removed. Somewhere might be green or something which would show that that was added or kept along. So it says under construction. So all these are remaining the same. Everything else is just removed. So all these data was removed. So we can see from the commits done there. Done. Now coming to what is the value of the hidden flag. Again, we can see it here. It's somewhere here. Get the history never forgets. Git history never forgets. Sorry. So this is going to be the flag for as a proof that you have compromised and solved this machine. Now, another way of finding this flag, which I did, was to come here and say removed my signature, ready for deployment. That's where I was like, okay. So this is what was added to the site. to add the signature or whatever. So you can find the flag here too. And with that, we can finish this room also there. Yep. So that was what I had planned for this live stream, to showcase about open source OSINT, how hackers perform OSINT, and how easy it is to perform OSINT, and also what are the dangerous aspects about having your information out there just on the public and the internet, just like that. So, whatever we covered here was related to gathering information which was already available in the public source, where we were performing a passive reconnaissance. That's where even OSINT comes into. OSINT is a part of passive reconnaissance, wherein you gather information which is existing there instead of actively, let's say, calling the target, or calling the person, or emailing them, or texting. It all comes under the active part of the reconnaissance, which actually gives you more accurate and real-time information, but also comes with its um, own flaws, such as the person whom you're trying to gather information from might eventually someday get to know that yes, you're trying to play around their back or something like that. So, yep. So that is what we did. We performed some OSINT here. And anything on the chat? I hope I was live the entire time and my audio was visible. Sorry, heard. I'm sorry, not visible. Was heard. Uh, yep, I seem to be live. I just make sure that. Yeah. It was all good. It was all good. That's fine. Everything seems to be good. Um, yes, I don't see anything coming up or anything like that. If that's the case, then probably I can end the stream and get back to something else. Any question in the chat? If anyone has some doubts or something about it. Okay, so I don't see anything coming out. If there's anything, you can always comment down below and I'll be happy to answer. And as always, you can even find my social icons and social medias down in the description of this video, and get in touch with me anytime. And I'll reach back to you as soon as possible with anything that you have a query related to cybersecurity or anything like that. Okay, with that, let me close this live stream. Thank you for everyone watching this video. Hope you learned something. I want you to learn something useful and felt this was a good and engaging content to watch too. Yep, with all that, I want to end this live stream here. Let's end this and meet you all on the next live stream and my further videos that is coming out. Till then, stay happy, stay smiling. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Bye bye.